Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Tuesday, November 24th. I hope that you're getting ready and enjoying the Thanksgiving season. I know that it's been a little difficult, but we still have a lot to be thankful for here in this great country we live in. So, hey, yesterday ended up being a great day on Wall Street. And let's see, can we follow through? What's happening in Washington? And what's happening on the earnings front. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, and looking forward to my conversation with Dave. Remember this, folks, risk is the only thing that you can control within your portfolio of investments. The question is, do you know how much risk you have in your portfolio? When I meet with folks, what I find is that most people don't really know how much risk is in their portfolio. That's why I developed the financial x-ray to develop and determine how much risk is there on a scale of 1 to 100. Hey, give me a call, 863-382-0037 to schedule your no obligation financial x-ray, or you can go to my website, statlerfinancial.com, and there's a button there you can push and get access to my calendar and schedule a time that's convenient for you. Hey, Dave and I will have a discussion here coming up next.
Point. The bin doctors are there. Two princes. Why two? Three's cheaper. I go with what we got. It's 8:39, 21 here before 9. Time to check in and find out what's going on Wall Street. And they're going crazy up there this morning. Let's head downtown to the offices of Statler Financial Services, where Phillip Statler is standing by. And I don't know whether you can explain it either, Phillip, but we sure are happy with our money at the moment, aren't we?
We are definitely happy with the market. That is for sure. I think that the markets in Wall Street are happy with what they're seeing in the transition team that Biden is putting together.
And the fact that the transition team actually has formal standing now because the GSA finally released the funding to it. So, like we always preach, Wall Street does not like uncertainty. And okay, fine. In real backdoor fashion, the administration kind of threw in the towel yesterday and released the GSA funds for the transition team. And among the things that impending President-elect Biden decided to do was he appointed a very familiar face to be our next Treasury Secretary, didn't he?
He really did, Dave, and I think that's probably good news. I think, you know, we're very familiar with her. She was the Fed chair for quite a while, and so and she was there during a really difficult time in our economy, and so I think that she brings some experience with the Fed to the Treasury. Though, let's face it, she's got some big shoes to fill in the Treasury under Mnuchin because he's done a fairly good job.
Absolutely. We're talking, of course, about Janet Yellen, the former chair of the Federal Reserve. So here's somebody that knows their way around the halls of the banking business, but also has a passing knowledge and a little better than that about the administration as well. Ought to be interesting to see happening. Basically, the first thing out of her mouth yesterday in public was, we need more fiscal support. She started the campaign already for a recovery package that Congress has been diddling around with now for 3 months. Who knows? Might actually happen even before she takes office.
Well, it could, but let's remember that we got two House and Senate that just have a hard time getting their act together and coming to some kind of an agreement. Nobody wants to be in the middle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if they try to do something during the lame duck session. Are the members of the House and the member of the Senate that are leaving their posts, voluntarily or otherwise, going to kind of change their tune now that political expediency doesn't get in the way? One of the pieces that I read last night said that the odds had started to improve and that there might even happen to the point where we could see a stimulus check conceivably even before New Year's Day. I'm not sure I believe that. That was starry-eyed optimism, but at least some of the pundits are saying that we might get a little bit more cooperation when there's no political skin on the line.
Well, and that's a possibility. I'm like you. I don't see any way possible to get a stimulus check out to people before January 1st. I mean, just the logistics of making that happen make it seem to me that it'd be very difficult for that to come to fruition.
Seems like a mighty long shot to me as well, but it was interesting that the first public statement as the potential nominee for the Treasury Secretary from Janet Yellen was, we got to fix this from the fiscal side of the fence. The bank's done all it can, which basically is the same thing that Paulson's been saying now for 6 months.
Oh, that's right. He has been. He's been chiming in a lot to say, "Hey, Congress, we need some help. We've done a lot, and we need you to step up to the plate and help us now to push through."
Absolutely. The response from the markets yesterday for number one, a little bit clearer picture of Washington, and number two, the appointment of Yellen, and number three, no bad news on the virus front that we didn't already expect, was we ended up closing up 328 points on the Dow, 26 points up on the NASDAQ, and another 20 points up on the S&P. And I'm looking at my futures this morning, Phillip. There's a conceivable possibility we could even open at a new record on the Dow this morning as an indication of how enthusiastic the market is.
You're right. It is getting so close to 30,000 that it's unbelievable. I mean, what is it? Maybe 1% away, and we'd be there. Less than 1%, and we'd be there.
Yeah, about 0.5% looking at the futures this morning, unless something turns. So it's an interesting time, and it's kind of a poster child experience for something you and I have been saying for a long time. The market does not like uncertainty. So now we know who the next Treasury Secretary is going to be. We know that at the very least, some of the towels being thrown in on the argument over the election. Things feel a little bit more settled, and even in the face of all the challenges of the coronavirus, the market's just saying, all right, this we can handle.
That's right. I think that we are seeing some certainty throw into the market. Does that mean that there's not some black swan event that could happen? No, it doesn't. But everybody's looking at what's happening and getting a good feel for where we'll be at the first of the year.
And that's probably something money likes more than anything else. Speaking of money, we do have earnings season continuing, and you said you had a boatload of reports this morning. Who said they were doing good and bad?
We have a slew of retail today, Dave. The likes of Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, Burlington Coat Factory, just a bunch of them coming in. So let's start with kind of the top of the line, and that would be Best Buy. Best Buy had a great quarter. I mean, they beat by 36 cents a share. The revenue was above estimates. Their same store sales was incredibly high. I mean, same store sales jumped 22% versus 13% expected. So why are they heading?
Yeah, what's going on?
Why are they heading south, right? Well, the best I can tell, they still are withholding financial guidance for this year. And so that, I think, is maybe the thorn in their side right now because they're trading down 2.3%. But everything in the quarter looks good, and we're heading into Christmas. You would think that would look good, but because there's no guidance, that I think they're feeling that pinch down. Well, now they're down 5%.
That's interesting. I hadn't seen that many of the stocks really suffering by pulling guidance so far this earnings season. The retailers might get whacked for doing that, huh?
Well, I wonder if it's retail because of Christmas.
Could be.
I wonder if people are expecting, hey, give us some indication of what you think is going to happen for the Christmas season. And that way we can get a better feel for how we think you're going to do. And that's not happening for Best Buy.
Conceivable. Other indications we got.
So the next one I have is Dick's Sporting Goods, and it's kind of a double whammy for them. They had a great quarter. I mean, they beat by almost 100%. They came in at $2.01 a share, $1 better than expected. Revenue was way above forecast, kind of the same as Best Buy. Their same store sales were up incredibly by 10 or 11% better than expected. So good things there. But the other thing for them is that their president, Lauren Hobart, has been promoted to the new CEO. So I'm not sure which aspects of that earnings report and the announcement is helping Dick's, but they're up 2% this morning.
We'll take good news any day of the week.
Absolutely. Now we do have some red ink in here too, Dave, and not everything's, I mean, even though it looks good, there's some some other red ink coming. We got Burlington Coat Factory, or actually it's Burlington Stores now. They beat by 13 cents a share. Revenue was ahead of estimates also. Now their same store sales dropped 11%, but that was still better than the 16% that was expected. But I think that just giving all of that right now, they're trading down 1.3%.
That's interesting, given the fact that in this quarter included the back to school rush. They did have a right to be expected to do better.
Yeah, they did. They really did. So let's continue on. I mean, retailers are just all over the place today. Abercrombie and Fitch, big retailer catering to the teens and college age kids.
Mm-hmm.
They earned 76 cents a share, which is basically what they were better than expected. They're expected to just break even for the quarter. So yeah, good thing for them, right? They
big beat. I'll take it.
Yep, and they would be, I would assume, one of your big winners if it showed up on your list, because they're up 9.5% this morning, and will open at a new 52-week high.
Wow, especially for the premium priced class. That, to my mind, indicates good news ahead for the Christmas shopping season.
I'm thinking so. I mean, Black Friday's coming up here pretty quick. And so I've got two more retailers I want to touch on, and then we can move on. But I got
right.
Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is a popular place to go, especially in the economic crisis we've been in. So they beat fairly well. Came in at $1.39 versus $1.15. Revenue, as expected, would be ahead of expectations. They have two stores. I don't know if you know that, but Dollar Tree is, obviously their name store, but they also bought Family Dollar several years ago. And so they own Family Dollar also. Their Family Dollar store did not do as well as expected, but the Dollar Tree name brand is pretty much carrying it as we go forward. They're actually up a little over 7.5% this morning.
I'm hearing nothing but good news so far today.
I know, it looks like it, right? The last one I have for you is Urban Outfitters, another kind of high-end retail operation, right? They earned 78 cents a share, which was better than the 45 cents expected. Again, revenue was ahead of expectations. Same store sales were up 4%. But, they have a couple different brands, and their Anthropologie brand or store was actually down 9%. And so that's that brand, I think, is kind of pressing on them. Plus, they were pretty close to their 52-week high. So they're trading down a little over 2% this morning.
It takes one little fly in the ointment and everybody loses their appetite. I don't know, right?
That's the way it goes these days.
Yep, resetting the table. Up day yesterday on Wall Street. In the case of the blue chips and the Dow, it was a pretty big up day given how close we're getting toward record territory. 45 minutes before we open this morning, Phillip, what are we looking at so far today?
So right now, all the indexes, stock indexes are going crazy. They're up substantially. We got the Dow up a little over 1%. We got the S&P 500 up 0.8, and we got the NASDAQ up almost 0.5%. I know we usually don't talk about this, but I want to mention Bitcoin real quick because it is escalating substantially. It's up 3% this morning and been moving up quickly. It was 18,000 yesterday. So some pretty big moves there in Bitcoin. The commodity side of the coin, we've got gold and silver giving up some position there. We've got silver down 1.7%, down below 2350. We got gold down 1.7% also. It's getting close to 1800 now, down to 1800. Not good news on that front. And then we got crude oil. You'll be happy with this, Dave. It's up almost 1.5% this morning to $43.70 a barrel.
Market evidently likes it too because I've got three of the big oil producers and my big gainers pre-market this morning. It's amazing what happens when you look at reopening the Texas oil patch, huh?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And the vaccine means people can travel, which means people will be spending money on fuel.
Yeah, funny things happen when things start looking up. Overseas, everybody's happy as well. Asian rim markets were up. Japan up real big after an off day yesterday, over 2.5% at the close. European markets all up over by a full percent as well overnight and halfway through their day today. So everything's coming up roses so far today. We'll hope it continues. Phillip, this means one of those times where, yeah, you want to make money in the market, but you don't want to put it at too much risk. That takes a little bit of ice water in the blood, and it takes a neutral observer. How do I find you to find that neutral eye?
Well, you're right, Dave. Risk is the only thing folks can really and truly control in their portfolio. So why we have the financial x-ray. They can give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule their financial x-ray review. Hey, catch our website, statlerfinancial.com, and then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. at noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
And, of course, back here tomorrow morning on Light FM before we take a long Thanksgiving weekend from the financial markets, right?
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, and we'll have our Thanksgiving hat on.
It got you covered. Thank you much, Phillip. Have a good day. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope that you are doing well with Thanksgiving in your heart. Hey, I'll talk to you again tomorrow as we wind down this Thanksgiving week. Have a great day.